Get into prospect of the week. I know we've got some guys in here, and Drew, go ahead and kick us
All right.
off.
Well, I'll start it with a big follow for me from the preseason All-State upper class. And he had kind of been trending this way a lot. Like I saw him swing it in the fall up at the Rock at a tournament. But Andrew Satunis, a catcher from Lockport, 2026, uncommitted junior, left-handed hitting catcher. And to me, like, what do I really like about Andrew Satunis? Why am I bringing him up as my prospect of the week? Like, it's all about that swing. Um, I love the swing. I love the way it works. I love the operation. I kind of feel like a broken record, but like the repeatability and the polish and the balance and the ease and the not over swinging and the being on the barrel with authority without over swinging, and just the repeat. Like that's what I love about Andrew Satunis. It's a compact swing that's on plane with a ton of feel for the barrel. And then behind the plate, I was doing the catcher workouts. I didn't bear down on him and during bullpen, so I'm gonna have to go look at that video as well. But just looks like a catcher from the setup, like it's a squared, balanced setup. Looks like a catcher, presents the glove the right way, and then it's clean out of the crouch. And the arm played at 76, and it plays true. So like to me, there's enough arm strength there. Man, if he can really receive like in game and do the job behind the plate and be a like a willing blocker and kind of that leader behind the plate, like I think you got yourself a really interesting catcher there to follow in that 2026 class.
Yeah, and Drew, if I can just add, I remember at the state games really liking him, seeing him on a couple of my fields when I was watching some of the games, and he just showed well. Yeah, like that left-hand swing, it's easy, it's loose, and I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm just gonna add it in again in case people missed it. But at the state games, his max exit velocity was 89 miles an hour, and then at this event, or it was at preseason All-State, right? He averaged 89 miles an hour. So that's just really impressive to see that he's obviously physically getting, stronger and things like that. So that's a interesting thing to note too for
Yeah.
Andrew.
Shout out
But
to you, Mr. Satunis, Andrew Satunis. Good work.
yeah, yeah, Ty Def, get in here and see you got a guy in here.
Yeah, on the theme of follows for the spring, like Drew was just touching on, I think for me it's Robert Miller. Right-handed pitcher out of Vernon Hills. He was on my mound at Joliet. Strong looking kid at 6 foot 195. Another guy just really liked how he got down the mound, but it was 86, 88 with the fastball. Had occasional carry through the zone as well. Um, on this day, his slider was his best off speed pitch. Sorry, with hard late bite at times. So, just a guy for me that like I'm gonna be paying attention to what this guy does in the spring for Vernon Hills. It was a guy I hadn't seen before. Came to Joliet, showed really well, and now I'm gonna be following him all spring. So, Robert Miller, Vernon Hills.
Then for my prospect of the week, I'm gonna go with Josh Kalazi from Bartlett, a 2026 uncommitted. Just a guy that showed really well at the preseason All State, and a guy that we've liked in game as well. I saw him last year in the spring. I know he got some meaningful time on varsity with on the mound and at the plate. But he's a really toolsy prospect, 6'7" runner, tons of compact strength without throughout the frame as well. 94 miles an hour from the outfield, so he's got arm strength, and we've seen that translate to the mound as well. I think last year in the spring he was pitching in the low 80s. Would not be surprised to see that, mid at least, maybe tickling in the upper 80s this year. Then he's got, a strong compact swing at the plate as well. Worked all over the barrel throughout his round. Was up to 100 miles an hour for his exit velo. And then he also has some loud blast metrics across the board, like all of it. Hand speed, bat speed, rotational acceleration, all of it. So really toolsy prospect to know. Yeah, we've seen him. It seems like only show well. So definitely want to get on.
Yeah, and then to round this out, my prospect of the week is right-handed pitcher Chase Rhodes out of Tremont. He's a 2026. I think we mentioned him last week at the preseason All-State upper class briefly. Him and Andrew Dawson are just two arms to know from Tremont. They've got a plethora of other names on that team as well, but he is a 6'4", 192-pound frame. Really strong kid. Looks the part in the jersey and the uniform. At that All-State upper class event, he was 91 to 92 with the fastball. Played with run. I did not see him, so I'm going to add some notes that Steve Nielsen added while he was watching him. But his curveball was 71 to 74 miles an hour. Um, had really good 12-6 action. He averaged negative 7.5 inches of IVB and negative 11 inches of horizontal movement. He threw a slider that paired well off the curveball. It was more lateral shape in the upper 70s. And then he threw a changeup at 78 to 79 miles an hour with above average sink, and he threw it for strikes 80% of the time, according to TrackMan. But yeah, he's going to be an arm that I'm going to need to get out and see this spring in Central Illinois for Tremont. And they're just going to be a team to kind of keep an eye on because they've got a lot of good players on that team. And yeah, Chase Rose, uncommitted 2026. I know he keeps ticking up and looking better each time we see him. So he'll be a name to know.